It's the G to the U to the R to the U. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the G to the U to the R to the U. Monday morning football with the guru, man. Appreciate y'all. I want to talk about the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. Specific two programs that's a 2-0, but yet they're built very differently from two different type of mindset. You have Matt Rhule and Kliff Kingsbury. When I look at this situation I look at Matt Rhule, who's building an NFL program in Carolina. And then I look at Kliff Kingsbury, who's building a college program in the NFL in Arizona. Two specific way of building a program. And I'm not saying which one way is right than another exactly, but as we all know, as of week 2 right now, they're both 2-0. So there's no one right or wrong way of building a program. Obviously, I have my way of building a program. So first, let me attack the Arizona Cardinals and the Kliff Kingsbury way of building a program. When I look at this, I look at the Arizona Cardinals as Kliff Kingsbury bringing the Big 12 into the NFL. And what I mean bringing the Big 12 is, if you watch college football, especially the Big 12, the Oklahomas, the Texas Techs, the back then the TCUs, teams such as those, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, teams such as those, they run that air raid offense. When it's an offensive focused philosophy, when it's a quarterback centric offense. And I look at the Arizona Cardinals, everything is quarterback centric. It's exactly what Kliff Kingsbury came from. You know, if your offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, head coach, whatever, you put in, that is your scheme. That is your personality. You put all that into what you create. Kliff Kingsbury came from the Big 12, came from that passive, aired out situation. That's his background. That's his upbringings. So you know what he's gonna do when he gets in the helm, when he has that situation to be a head coach. What do you think he's gonna be great at? I look at the Cardinals, man. It's like I'm watching a Big 12 team. I don't see a tight end. I see an empty formation. Like they're always in empty formation. You don't predominantly see that in the NFL. Formation wise, you don't see that. The way the Cardinals formation, you don't see that. Majority of the NFL, you see a lot of motion. You see a lot of shift. You don't see that in the Cardinals offense. You see a straight, hike the ball, spacing, and let the quarterback make decisions. Put athlete in space. They want to open up the field. Just like the Big 12, you want to open up the field. There is no defense in the Big 12. You look at the Arizona Cardinals. You might have a guy that make defensive plays, but they don't have no defensive guys. Yes, and I'm sorry, Buda Baker. That's my guy. I love me some Buda Baker. Don't get it twisted. But in the largest scheme of things, man, in the largest scheme of things, this is an offensive-based organization. And only that, it's a quarterback offensive-based organization. And it's a Kyler Murray quarterback-based organization. And one thing I could tell you about the Big 12, man, we all know it's fun watching them. We know week by week, oh my God, they put 60 points, they put basketball scores on the scoreboard. But when it comes down to the come down though, do you all respect a Big 12 team when it comes down to when they play in the playoff or when they go against a top tier team? That's my biggest question. Just like the Big 12 conference, biggest question. Just like the way you question them and how I question the Big 12 conference is the same way I question the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, you could score offensively, but could you stop anyone? You put up 30 points and you're giving up about 29 points. When it comes down to the come down in this division, Arizona, I know you guys lie. I know Kliff Kingsbury, you from the Big 12. I know Kyler Murray, you from the Big 12. But one thing I could tell you, since the BCS came into organization, whatever the playoff, the Big 12 team has never won a playoff in the NCAA. And Kliff Kingsbury brought that Big 12 crap into the NFL. And I'm going to tell you this, that Big 12 crap is not going to work in the playoff in the NFL. Now let's transition into Matt Rhule, the other guy who's building a program. You know, who's building an NFL program in the NFL. Not no Big 12. Yeah, he's a Big 12 guy too, but he's not bringing that Big 12 nonsense into the NFL. No, not at all. And the way Matt Rhule is building this program, I love it. It's the way traditionalists build the program. Just for when he first came in 2 years ago as a rookie head coach, he went into the draft and he went and one thing about building a program, you all got to start with identity. And he went with everybody in their first draft pick, defensive players, and he started with the interior and he worked from inside out. My man drafted Brown for his first round pick, defensive tackle, Brown. We all know Big Bully Brown, man. And then Jeremy Chin, safety. I'm talking about started from the inside out. All defensive players. The next year around, got himself some offensive players. Got himself Sam Darnold this year. I see what you're doing, Matt Rhule. And I like the way you're building that program over here in Carolina, man. You look at the Panthers defensively right now in 2 weeks of football. In 2 weeks of football, they're allowing 10.5 points a game. This week, they held Sean Payton to 128 yards of total offense, the lowest output in his coaching career. And Sean Payton is a boy genius when it comes to the offense. What Matt Rhule is doing in Carolina is building an NFL program, and he's building it with identity and he's building it with toughness, especially on the defensive side of the football. This ain't no Big 12 situation. Like I tell you, there's two 2-0 team right now. This built very differently, but from very similarly, same record, but built differently. The Arizona Cardinals, built like the Big 12, air raid. And then you have Matt Rhule. And you all know how I feel about the Matt Rhule. Rule number one, like Matt Rhule. Rule number two, always follow rule number one. And Matt Rhule has those guys scheming. He has his defense playing lights out, and he has his offense playing efficient football, running the ball, not having the quarterback being the running back. Having a quarterback, having the ability to run the ball, it's a plus. As we saw Sam Darnold do what he's doing, utilizing his leg, also as his arm. Two ways, two teams now that are 2-0. Two teams that are 2-0. But they came to this 2-0 two different ways. One team is bringing the college philosophy, the Big 12 philosophy into the NFL. And another team is building an NFL program in the NFL. I'm not saying there's a right or there's a wrong way, because obviously both of these two teams are undefeated. But in the long haul of things, we all know you might bring a couple of college principals into the NFL. but this is still the NFL. And this has been episode 43 of Monday Morning Football with the Guru. Y'all know the drill, man. Like this, love this, share this, and I am out.